Hello student, in this lecture we'll study microwave network analysis. In microwave, various components and devices are connected together, and this interconnection is known as junction. As we know that in lumped circuit analysis, like in low frequency applications, we were doing network analysis with the help of various parameters like Z, A, B, C, D, H, Y parameters. Why we were using those parameters? Because we were able to measure voltages, total voltages and currents in our network. However, what happens in microwave systems, we are considering electromagnetic wave, which is actually a combination of incident and reflected voltage or current waves. So we are not able to measure the total voltages and current. Here we are able to measure only a incident wave or reflected wave. So we cannot use this Z, Y, H or ABCD parameters in microwave network. And for analyzing the microwave network, we need to use a new set of parameters which we will discuss in this particular lecture. So as I mentioned earlier, that it is a combination of various several microwave devices connected in a certain manner to give you a transmission in desired direction, and this interconnection is known as microwave junction. Each junction may be considered as a two-port network. If it would be a it is a two-port network. A junction, if it is considered as a two-port network, then we may represent it like this, which is a kind of four-terminal network. And in this system, there are four terminal, and we can define total voltages and currents like this. Let's say it is a low frequency application in which we are considering a two-port network. So at port 1 the voltage is V1, the current entering into the port 1 is I1, port 2 has the voltage V2 and current entering into the port 2 is I2. This is port 1 and this is port 2. So we have four sets of parameters here, V1, I1, V2, I2. These four sets of, out of these four sets of variable, two will be the independent variables for excitation and two will be the dependent variables for response. Depending upon which parameter V1, I1, V2, I2, which parameter is used for the analysis, there are four types of parameters that we use in low frequency applications, which are, the first one is the Z matrix. Z matrix defines this voltages as a function of I, V as a function of I, and the relation between V and I is denoted by impedance. So this parameter, if it is a two-port parameter, the matrix which relates the input variable and the output variable will be 2 cross 2 matrix. It is Z11, Z12, Z21 and Z22. Now how to determine this Z11? This equation will be this equation 1 could be written as V1 is equal to Z11 I1 plus Z12 I2, and V2 is equal to Z21 I1 plus Z22 I2. So if you want to determine this Z11, this Z11 will be V1 over I1 when I2 is equal to 0. This Z21 will be V2 over I1 when I2 is equal to 0. This Z12 will be V1 over I2 when I1 is equal to 0, and Z22 will be equal to V2 over I2 when I1 is equal to 0. Means these parameters are defined only when another port is open circuited, right? I is equal to 0 means the port is open circuited. Z12 is defined as the impedance determined when port 1 is open circuited. So Z matrix is also called, the Z parameter are also called as open circuit parameter. Okay, and Z11 is input impedance, Z22 is output impedance, because V and I ratio is impedance. Z12 and Z21 are trans impedances. Next parameter that we use for in low frequency application is Y parameter. Y parameter is called admittance parameter. It relates I to V, I as a function of V, and this function is the admittance function. And the matrix that we define for Y matrix is I1 I2 is equal to Y11 Y12 Y21 Y22 V1 V2. So if you want to determine this Y11, what is Y11? Y11 will be equal to I1 over V1 when V2 is equal to 0. This Y21 will be equal to I2 over V1 Y21. So first parameter will be I2 divided by V1 when V2 is equal to 0. Y12 will be I1 over V2 when V1 is equal to 0, and Y22 is equal to I2 over V2 when V1 is equal to 0. Now see, these parameters are defined only when another port is V is equal to 0, means it is short circuited. So this parameter is also called short circuit parameter, also called short circuit parameter. Okay, Y11 is input admittance, Y22 is output admittance, Y21 and Y12 are trans admittances. Okay, so this is also called short circuit parameter. Third parameter that we use in low frequency application is ABCD parameter. ABCD parameter is also called transmission parameters. They are also called transmission parameter. They are used in transmission applications like electrical lines, etc. Transmission parameters. Why? Because original convention of two-port network is that current should enter into the port. Okay, this I1 is port 1 current and V2 is the voltage. The original convention is that I2 should be like this. However, in transmission parameter, we want current to be transmitted to other devices, means the convention should be like this minus I2. That's why this minus I2 comes here, because we want transmission to occur from one point to another point. That's, and we consider that current is flowing outside the port 2. Okay, so that's why this minus I2 is here. So it relates the voltage and current at the port 1 to the voltage and current in the port 2, considering the current flow outside the port 2. So they relate ABCD like this, and this could be defined as A is equal to V2 by so let me write this equation. V1 I1 is equal to A V2 minus B I2, and I1 is equal to A V2 minus C V2 minus D I2. So A will be equal to V1 by V2 when I2 is equal to 0. C will be equal to I1 by V2 when I2 is equal to 0. Means A and C are determined when port 2 is open circuited, and B is equal to V1 by I2 when V2 is equal to 0, and D is equal to I1 by I2 when V2 is equal to 0. Okay, so two parameters are determined when one of the port is open circuited, and these two parameters are determined when one of the port is short circuited. Okay, so A would be, what would be A? A is equal to V2 by V1 is voltage gain. Okay, C will be equal to minus I2 by V1, trans admittance, this I2 by V1. B is equal to V2 by I1, transimpedance, and D is equal to current gain. Okay, I2 by E1 is current gain. Next parameter is H matrix. It is called hybrid parameter. Why hybrid? Because it relates input and output parameter together as independent and dependent variable. So this is dependent variable which consists of V1 and I2, input voltage and the output current. Where it is used, this parameter, in transistors. VBE IC, if you know this parameter. So this is the equation of this hybrid parameter. V1 is equal to H11 I1 plus H12 V2, and I2 is equal to H21 I1 plus H22 V2, where H11 will be equal to V1 by I1 when V2 is equal to 0. H12 is equal to V1 by V2 when I1 is equal to 0. H21 is equal to I2 by I1 when V2 is equal to 0, and H22 is equal to I2 by V2 when I1 is equal to 0. Means H11 is what? V1 by I1, input impedance, okay, when port 2 is short circuited. Okay, H12 is equal to V1 by V2, reverse gain. Okay, determined when I1 is equal to 0, means when port 1 is open circuited, and this is short circuit. H21 is equal to I2 by I1, forward current gain when port 2 is short circuited. H22 is equal to output I2 by V2 is equal to output admittance when port 1 is open circuited. So this parameter is also determined when one of the port is either short circuited or open circuited. Okay, so what is the problem? So what will happen if we have to go into higher frequency range, that is in microwave range? We cannot use these parameters in microwave range because there are certain problems that may appear if you use these parameters Z, Y, H or A, B, C, D in microwave range. What are the problems? Let's discuss. First thing is the devices that we use in microwave range. You might have seen in your laboratory that the devices that we use in microwave lab are not able to measure total voltages and current. They are actually picking up the reflected voltage or incident voltages, etc. Okay, they are not measuring total voltages for any port. They are measuring the instantaneous voltages picked up at that particular time, and these voltages are not total voltages. These are incident or reflected voltages which are measured by these devices. Okay, and second thing is you have seen as I have mentioned earlier that Z, Y, H and ABCD, and ABCD, all these parameters were determined when one of the port was open circuited and short circuited. Understood? Because Z11 was determined when one of the port was open circuited. Y11, Y22 are determined when one of the port was short circuited. ABCD parameters were determined when one of the port was either open circuited or short circuited. H parameter were determined when one of the port is either short circuited or open circuited. Means we always have to create an open circuit or short circuit within a system, two port system, to measure the parameters. However, what happens in microwave range, if you create a open circuit, because it is a high frequency, the terminals will show stray capacitance due to the electric field between the terminal connections. You see, so what will happen, there will always be a capacitive behavior there. The voltage there will not be open circuit, the current will not be zero always. However, If you want to create short circuit in microwave range, what would happen? Because of this short circuit, an inductive behavior may appear at high frequency, so there will always be an impedance there. The voltage will not be zero there. See, understood what I am saying? If it is in microwave range, this is a microwave network, and you are creating an open circuit. So if you are creating an open circuit at high frequency, there are stray capacitances there. If stray capacitance may appear at high frequency, means the admittance here will be something y is equal to j omega c, and it will not be zero as it happens in low frequency applications. So if it is not zero, certain impedance may appear over here, means this may act as an antenna. Some power may leak through these ports because of its open circuit behavior, and there is certain capacitance here, so power may leak through here and it may act as an antenna. This is the problem. Second problem, what I am saying, if you want to measure any z, y, h parameter in microwave frequency, and you need to create a short circuit here. So in short circuit, what will happen? At high frequency, certain impedance may appear because of this short circuit. Short circuit means you need to use a wire may have inductance and resistance. At high frequency, certain inductance may appear here, so there will be an impedance j omega l, which will not be zero. Okay, so because of this impedance inductive behavior, some current may start to flow through this short circuit also. Okay, we cannot create this ideal open and short circuit condition in microwave circuit because of very high frequency and because of the appearance of stray capacitance and inductance in this circuit at very high frequencies. Also, when you terminate the microwave network by open circuit or short circuit, it will not show this stable behavior. Like in this case, you see the power may leak through this port, and in this case the current will always start to flow, and this may change. The current flow through this particular short circuit will change as previously because of this inductance appear over here due to high frequency. So system behavior will not be stable in high frequency application if you create an open circuit or short circuit condition. So these are the problem that may appear in microwave range if you want to measure total voltages and currents, and if you want to create open circuit and short circuit to analyze the circuit by using this z, y, h and abcd parameters. So we need to use a different kind of parameter for analyzing the network behavior in microwave range. These parameters are scattering parameters or scattering matrix. So in scattering matrix, scattering matrix, we do not measure, we do not use total voltages and current at all the terminal, because they are not feasible to be measured in microwave frequency. What we do here, as we know that the wave total voltage is the combination of incident wave exponential minus j x and plus omega t plus exponential minus gamma z minus j beta g z and v minus. Okay, so this is the combination of this incident wave and the reflected wave exponential j omega j beta x, sorry, j beta x. Okay, so this is the combination of incident wave and the reflected wave. So we'll use the parameter which will make use of this incident voltage and reflected voltage only, not the total voltage and total current here. So these relationships are represented by scattering matrix, which describes linear multiport device at given frequency and given line impedance z0. So let's see what are these scattering matrix. This scattering matrix is measured by some network analysis technique, and if you want to measure directly for if you are given any microwave device and you need to know the scattering matrix, scattering parameters immediately, then you use a device called vector network analyzer. This is vector network analyzer, through which you are able to measure the network analysis at various frequencies, at design frequencies. What are those behavior of this circuit? You see the antenna is connected over here and it is showing some characteristic here. It is in our department, we have network analyzer. When you will come back, you will get to see how it works. So let's see what is scattering matrix. So let's say consider a multi-port network connected to n transmission lines. These are the transmission lines, and we have to measure the scattering matrix. At each transmission line, we have considered the incident voltages and currents. The plus sign denotes the incident part and the negative sign shows the reflected part. This is one two port. This is first two port network, second two port network, third two port network, and nth two port network. Nth, ठीक है, 1 2 3 4 and nth. So the first set here represents the incident wave into the port is denoted by plus sign, and the minus sign is denoted by the reflected wave. So V1 plus I1 plus are incident voltage and incident current into port 1, and V1 minus and I1 minus are the reflected voltages and current reflected from the port 1. Okay, similarly you can see the inside the port are denoted by plus sign and the outside of the port are denoted by the negative signs. So these this S parameter is formed by the ratio of the reflected and incident voltage amplitudes, like this. So if you consider that all the transmission lines have same characteristic impedance, all the n lines have characteristic impedance Z0, we'll see if the characteristic impedance is different, what will happen to this scattering matrix analysis. We'll see later in this lecture, but let's first consider that all the transmission lines have the same characteristic impedance, let's say Z0. Then we define S parameter as like this equation, V minus as a function of V plus, and the relationship into this reflected and incident wave is called the scattering matrix. Okay, V1 minus V2 minus V3 minus Vn minus is equal to S11, S12, S2n, S1n, and this matrix V1 plus V2 plus. So these are the reflected voltages and these are incident voltages, and this reflected and incident voltages are related by a matrix called scattering matrix. Okay, now how do we define this individual parameters? Let's see. So this Sij will be equal to Vi minus divided by Vj plus. Okay, when Vk plus is equal to 0 and k will not be, means S11, we'll see it later for two port network. So what we are seeing here, that it is the parameter which is defined from port J to port 1, because the incident is appearing at port J. Okay, so it is the parameter which is defined from port J to port I. So now let's see it for two port parameter here. So let's see. Consider a two port network here, because that was n port network parameter, it was difficult to understand for you people, so we are seeing it for two port network. Let's see, if we have two port network, the voltage and current incident into port 1 are V1 plus and I1 plus, and reflected voltage from port 1 is V1 minus, and this incident voltage is V2 plus, and reflected voltage is V2 minus. So we'll represent it as V1 minus is equal to S11 V1 plus S12 V2 plus, and V2 minus is equal to S21 V1 plus S22 V2 plus. So how do we define this S11? S11 is equal to V1 minus over V1 plus when V2 plus is equal to 0. Okay, so this S11 is V1 minus over V1 plus when V2 plus is equal to 0. What would it call? It would be called as reflection coefficient, voltage reflection coefficient at port 1. But this is called voltage reflection coefficient at port 1 only when V2 plus is equal to 0. What is V2 plus? V2 plus is the incident voltage at the port 1. So how do we make these V2 plus is equal to 0? This requires that there is no source over here in port 2. Then only we don't have any incident voltage. If there would be a source, this would incident on port 2. If we want to make this V2 plus is equal to 0, so what would it require? That there should not be any source over here in port 2. And second thing is required that port 2 is matched so that there are no reflections from this port. Okay, so if V2 minus is appearing over here, there might be a V2 plus that may appear over here. So we want that it is completely matched so that V2 minus is also 0. There should not be any reflection. So in order to make this V2 plus, there should not be any source over here, and this S11 is called the reflection coefficient at port 1 only when V2 plus is equal to 0. Similarly, we can define other parameters like S12, S21. S21 will be equal to V2 minus over V1 plus when V2 plus is equal to 0. Okay, this V2 plus could be 0 when there is a match load at port 2 and there is no source over there. And then this S21 is called transmission coefficient. We see transmission coefficient. Why it is called transmission coefficient? V2 minus over V1 plus. We are defining V2 minus over V1 plus from port 1 to 2. From 1 to 2. Okay, so this is the voltage transmission coefficient from port 1 to port 2. Okay, similarly we can define other parameters like S12 will be equal to V1 minus over V2 plus when V1 plus is equal to 0. This will be the transmission coefficient from port 2 to port 1 when V1 plus is equal to 0. What do we mean by this V1 plus? V1 plus means there is matched load at the port 1. Please remember this thing. I may ask this in your quiz or something. V1 plus is equal to 0 means matched load at the port. What do you mean by matched load? That this ZL is equal to Z0, so that there is no reflection over there. This is matched load condition. Now how do we define S22? S22 will be equal to V2 minus over V2 plus when V1 plus is equal to 0. What is this? This is output reflection coefficient. S11 was reflection coefficient at port 1, while S22 is called reflection coefficient at port 2 when port 1 is matched. Okay, so we have defined all four parameters S11, S12, S22 and S21. So S11 is input reflection coefficient with output network terminated by matched load. S21 is forward transmission coefficient from 1 to 2. S12 is reverse transmission coefficient from port 2 to 1. S22 is output reflection coefficient when port 1 is matched. Okay, so now let's proceed. So you understood this thing that it will be a mistake if we say that S11 is the voltage reflection coefficient at port 1. It will happen only when V2 plus is 0. Okay, so we'll see if the port 2 is not properly matched, then S11 will not be called as reflection coefficient at port 1. It will depend on other parameters also, and we'll see later in the tutorial session. I'll give you one example which you may see that S11 the reflection coefficient at port 1 is actually depending upon other parameters also if port 2 is not properly matched. We'll see later in tutorial session. Now let's see the properties of S matrix, which are very important. If you want to characterize any device, you should know the properties of S matrix. So this is two port system shown over here, and each transmission line which is connected to a device has the same characteristic impedance which is shown over here. First property is the reciprocity. Reciprocity means a network is reciprocal if in scattering matrix we define S11, S12, S21 and S22. The network will be reciprocal when these two transmission properties, this transmission coefficients are same, means from 1 to 2 and from 2 to 1 both the transmission coefficient are same, then we say the network is reciprocal, means S12 is equal to S21. This is the condition for reciprocity. Or if you want to determine, you could say that when S is equal to S transpose, this is the condition for reciprocity. Okay, this property occurs in passive network that they form reciprocal network, and this network is reciprocal when the network is equal to its transpose, which is defined mathematically by this property, S is equal to S transpose. Next property is symmetry. A two-port network is symmetrical when it is reciprocal. When both the networks when the network is reciprocal, we say it will be symmetric, and its output and input reflection coefficients are also same, means S22 is equal to S11, then we say the network is symmetrical. Means for symmetry it is required that reciprocal condition should be occurred and input and output characteristics are same. So for symmetry, S11 is equal to S22 and S12 is equal to S21. When both these conditions are fulfilled, we say the network is symmetrical. Third condition is lossless network. Lossless means there is no loss occurring over here. No loss means it should not have any the network should not have any resistive component, because loss will occur due to the resistance. Means whenever resistance is there, the I square R by 2 or V square by R, anything. Now V square by R means power loss may occur over here. So if I say that network is lossless, means it's resistive component, means it should have only the imaginary component like inductance or capacitance. If there is no resistance, means the power delivered to the network is not real, it is imaginary power. Imaginary power means there is power storage over here. You have seen in Poynting theorem that we have the real power and imaginary power. The real power shows power delivered or power loss, and the imaginary power shows the power stored within the network. So if there is no real power, means power is stored within the system and network is lossless. Okay, so for lossless condition, the network is called lossless if S matrix is unitary. The unitary property says that S into S conjugate transpose is equal to unit matrix, means S conjugate transpose. This sign is for conjugate transpose is equal to unitary matrix. So we'll write S, you can do other way around also. S conjugate transpose into S is equal to unitary, both will give you the same result. So S11 conjugate, S21 conjugate, S12 conjugate, S22 conjugate, S11 S12, we are writing this over here, S11, S12, S21, S22 is equal to unitary matrix, means diagonal elements will be 1, 1, 0, 0, 1. So we'll solve these equations and let's see what happens over here. So S into S conjugate transpose will give you these equations. S11 square plus S21 square, S12, if you multiply both the matrices given here, you will get S11 square plus S21 square. Second component will be S11 conjugate S12, S21 conjugate S22. Third term will be equal to S12 conjugate S11, S22 conjugate S21, and fourth similarly, and we'll equate this to this 1001 term. So we'll have S11 square plus S21 square is equal to 1, first condition. Second condition, S12 square plus S22 square is equal to 1. And what we'll have over here, S11 S12 conjugate plus S21 S22 conjugate is equal to 0. And similarly this condition, S12 S11 conjugate, which is almost same, just the conjugate term appear over here. So we have this condition. So when these three conditions are obtained, we say the network is lossless. What does it mean? You have this matrix S11, S12, S21, S22. Okay, and this matrix S11 multiplied by S11 conjugate, S12 conjugate, S21 conjugate, S22 conjugate. When you multiply these two equations, you get this particular equation. So this property says, suppose any network is given to you, any scattering matrix is given to you, S11, S12, S21, S22, and you are asked to determine whether it is lossless or not. So what how do you define these properties? That this is given to you. So this property says, what this property says, that sum of product of element of scattering matrix in a row or column multiplied by their complex conjugate is equal to 1, है ना? So what does it says? S11 square is S11 into S11 conjugate. If you consider this particular column here, S11 into S11 conjugate plus S21 S22 conjugate is equal to 1. And what this property says, second equation, if you see over here, S12 multiplied by S12 conjugate, no, this property, you see, let me show you in another. So I am explaining it over here. Let's say this matrix is given to you, S21, S22. Okay, so you are asked to determine whether it is lossless or not. So what you will do, you consider one particular column, S11 S11 conjugate plus S21 conjugate. It should be come out as 1. If it is not 1, you say that matrix is not lossless, because all the conditions should be fulfilled. This is the first property that we obtained in the last, S11 square plus mod S21 square is equal to 1. The first property is this. Now similarly, if this comes out at 1, you need to check the second column. Okay, now we'll go to second column. S12 conjugate plus S22 conjugate should come out as 1, which is equal to S12 square plus mod S22 square is equal to 1. And second and third property, what was that? Sum of product of element of scattering matrix in a column multiplied by the conjugate, the multiplication of the element of scattering matrix in a column multiplied by the conjugate of the corresponding element in another column will be equal to 0. Okay, the sum of. So what we'll do, we'll multiply the element of first column to the conjugate of the second element of second column, and we'll take the sum of these products, and this should give you 0. So what I am doing is first column element multiplied by the second column conjugate plus S21 first column element multiplied by the second column conjugate. This should be equal to 0. Means all the conditions should be fulfilled if you want to determine the lossless condition. So first condition says the sum of product of elements in one particular column which are obtained by multiplying the element value to their complex conjugate should be equal to 1. And second property says, and this should be done for all the column. If 3 by 3 matrix is there, you need to use this property for all 3 columns. Okay, and second property says the multiplication of the sum of product of element with their complex conjugate into another column will be equal to 0. Okay, first column element multiplied by the conjugate in second column, where the summation of these things will give you 0. Okay, so this is unitary property, that scattering matrix that we have seen, the network is reciprocal. S12 is equal to S21. It should be symmetrical. Second property, symmetrical के लिए it is required that S12 is equal to S21 and S11 is equal to S22, and third condition, lossless. These are the 3 properties of S matrix that we have seen. So next, move on to generalize the scattering parameter. Until now we have determined the scattering matrix when we consider that all the ports had same impedance, characteristic impedance. Now what would happen if all the transmission lines connected to an n-port network have different characteristic impedance? So let's see over here. We'll denote the incident wave as A and reflected wave as B. Incident as A and reflected as B. So this A is the incident wave, which is denoted by Vn plus divided by under root Zon, and the reflected wave is shown as Vn minus divided by under root Zon, where Zon is the characteristic impedance of nth port. Okay, so the total voltage and current equations at reference plane n are denoted as Vn is equal to Vn plus Vn minus. From this equation we can use the value of Vn plus and Vn minus. This should come out as under root Zon an plus Vn. Similarly, we can define the equation for, if you have seen in transmission line, that the current equation is Vn plus minus Vn minus divided by Zon. So we'll put the value of Vn plus and Vn minus. It will come out as An minus Bn divided by under root Zon. So we have determined this Vn and In for the n port network. Now the average power flowing into terminal n will be equal to 1 by 2 real Vn In conjugates. We have determined already the Vn In over here, Vn here and In here. We'll put these values in the average power equation over here. This is real Vn In conjugate. So this comes out as An into An conjugate minus Bn into Bn conjugate plus Bn An conjugate minus Bn conjugate An. Now first term, this term mod An square minus mod Bn square, while this term will be the complex one. You see, Bn into An conjugate minus Bn conjugate into An. This comes out as imaginary part. The only real part in this equation is this one. So average power flow into the terminal n will be An square minus Bn square. This is the power carried into the terminal n by incident wave. Now how do we define this S parameter? Sij will be equal to B by A, Bi divided by Aj. B is the reflected wave and A is the incident wave. So B is equal to V minus over under root Zon. Bi, how do we define Bi? Vi minus divided by under root Zoi. This is B, and Aj will be equal to V1 plus Vj plus divided by under root Zoj. Now see, these are the characteristic impedance at jth port, at the ith port. If both the impedances should be are same, then this is equal to V minus over Vi minus over Vj plus. Okay, since we have considered that characteristic impedances are different, so the scattering parameter at from J to I will be equal to Vi minus over Vj plus under root Zoj divided by under root Zoi. Now let's consider it for two-port network. This is two-port network which is given to you, and incident wave is A1, reflected wave is B1, incident is A2, reflected is B2, and this is denoted by B1 by B2 is equal to S11 S12 divided by S21 S22 A1 A2. This equation is used when we consider that ZO1 is not equal to ZO2. Here the characteristic impedance is ZO1 and ZO2, where B1 is equal to V1 minus over under root ZO1, A1 is equal to V1 plus divided by under root ZO1. Similarly, B2 is equal to V2 minus over under root ZO2, and A2 is equal to V2 plus divided by under root ZO2. This is the definition of A1 V1 and A2 V2. So B1 B2 is equal to A1 A2, and we are representing it. The relationship is represented by S matrix. So S11 is equal to B1 by A1 when A2 is equal to 0. S21 is equal to B2 by A1 when A2 is equal to 0. S12 is equal to B1 by A2 when A1 is equal to 0, and S22 is equal to B2 by A2 when A1 is equal to 0. So that's it, and we'll see later where we'll use these scattering parameters in further lectures. Thank you.